We are finally back on the Extra channel. It's been a crazy last couple of months after being ill for pretty much a full month, from getting back from a road trip in the touring, which we'll get onto in a little bit of a minute. And then I've been trying to look for cars for the main channel as well, so the Extra channel has had to take a little bit of a back burner. But we're back, and we're back with my beloved BMW E91 Touring, which I absolutely love. This car gets used every single day of the week, whether it's going to get parts, whether it's going to view cars, whether it's doing a Europe road trip. It gets used and abused every single day, and I love it. But with us doing nearly 7,000 miles in this car since I bought it, there's a couple of little bits that I want to either upgrade or kind of diagnose and fix, because this car's done, I think, nearly 170,000 miles. It's a 320D, so it's getting kind of up there with high mileage. There's only a few bits that really need doing, but some of them we'll get into a little bit later. The first one is one that I didn't actually do the night before we set off on our road trip. I serviced the car, I changed the oil and the oil filter, but one thing I forgot to do, well, I didn't forget to do it, was the air filter. And the reason being is because they are quite a bit of a job to do on these, instead of kind of just unbolting the airbox, taking the old one out and putting the new one in. Let me show you. By the way, have you ever seen an air filter that shape? What an odd looking air filter. Now, the air filters on these cars actually sit all the way down the back here, so this kind of sits below, under all these covers. Now, I decided to leave me changing the oil on this car till literally like 20 minutes before we were setting off to Dover, and then I realised how much of a job these air filters were, so I didn't have time to do it. So the first job we're going to do is quickly change this air filter over. This car has full service history, but I'm not sure when the last time it was done. So we're going to get this in. This has got to come off. This has got to come off. I think the scuttle panel's got to come off. There's quite a little bit of work to get this off. So let's do it. Okay. First job is to get all these plastic things out the way so we can start getting access to that air filter. I know all this rubber trim's got to come off. All of this up here's got to come off. So let's get started. Right, let's get this air filter out. First time I've ever done one on this car. Wow, aggressive. So we'll see how this goes. Right, this should pull up and out. That is one good thing about the M47 engines, is they are pretty easy to work on, so I'm very appreciative of that, because if this was a N47 it would be a lot more awkward. But yeah, looks fairly fresh under it. I need to delete that EGR. No one likes an EGR. Right, what's next? All of this has got to come off, so I think the rubber trim needs to come out. Uh-oh, I'll get that in a minute. Now this should pull up and out. Ooh, we might as well change that. Sorry, motor stop, they've literally just dropped another part off for me, and I'm going to need another, because they're looking pretty sorry for themselves. Here we go. Air filter is out. Look at the state of that. I mean, it's not the worst I've seen, but oh wait, hold on. Yeah, it is pretty bad. That's nasty. Well, I'm glad we're changing that now, because that is disgusting. Okay, let's get the new one
Also, apologies for the noise. The neighbours are literally having the whole house redone, so it's pretty much a building site. But let's get this in, and then we can pretty much put everything back together. Okay, air box cover thing is back on. That took a little bit of wrestling to try and get it all to line up in position, but now that's on, we can get the little kind of side panel thing on. I don't even know what you'd call this, but this slots down into here, and then there should be, if I haven't lost it, which is probably what I've done, a little Allen key head that bolts in there. There we go, air filter changed. Now it's just a matter of getting everything we took off back on the car, which hopefully should be a little bit easier than trying to take it off. Okay, the next part is to get the cabin filter back in, but as you can see, this is absolutely disgusting. So I'm not going to put this back in for now. I'm going to leave the car as it is, put everything else back on, and then we'll fly to motor stop and go grab another cabin filter, fit that, and then that's that job done, and we can move on to the next one. So that's the plan. I'm not leaving this like that. Look at how this can't have been changed in a very, very long time. It is a BMW part. Where's the logo? I'm just seeing a little tiny BMW logo there, but that is, look at that. Oh, that's nasty. Off she goes. Right, let's carry on. One, two. Put in there. Put in there. Right, air filter done. Let's head to motor stop and get a new cabin filter.
Such a great model.
Yeah, now look. And this is why you use motor stop. Absolute legends. They will go down a treat before I actually get on my diet. But I've said that too many times. We've got the new cabin filter, whatever you'd call it, so we can install it back into this little kind of duct in and get it installed back on the car, and that will be a job well done. However way this goes, I'm not sure. Like that somehow. I need two hands. Right, let's get this job finished. Okay, that's the air filter job done. That is a job well taken care of. The next issue with this car, which it's not major, but it's just that little bit annoying. I'm assuming they've never been changed. When you open the boot, ignore how dirty the car is. Can you hear that? The boot kind of doesn't really support itself anymore, and you have to kind of manually open it yourself, which is obviously the gas struts that kind of hold the pressure on the bonnet. So we've got something to fix that. We should in here have two fresh gas struts, and yes, they are from Amazon. You can actually get decent car parts off Amazon now.
Until they don't fit.
Until they don't fit. Yeah, I've jinxed that really bad, haven't I? But the good thing with Amazon is you can literally take it to a post box thing and get a refund straight away. So first job is to take off the old ones. Now you just need a flathead screwdriver. There's a little tiny marking on the side, and watch your face, that's that one off. And the same with the bottom. You just pry the little clip off. That nearly take your head off, it landed over there. Okay, and now this one should come off there, and you can clip this one onto there, and this one. Onto. I need to compress it a little bit. They're just that tiny little bit too long. Could you just hold the boot a sec? I think they need to be. Oh, no way. Can the boot go any? Wait for it. There we go. The boot needed to just be pushed up a little bit. So that's that one. Nice and secure. And they already come with them little clips that I took off the old one. So you just have to push them in and they hold themselves in place. Let's do the other one.
Why are you flicking at me?
You've got glasses on, you're all right. Right, next. Right. That one off there. That one off there. That one on there. And that one on there. Should we test it? How quick that was to do. Ready? Are they meant to lift themselves up? I don't think they are they? I think they're just meant to hold the weight of the boot, which, well, at least it's not making that horrible noise now. I think there's uprated ones you can get that you just press the button and they push the boot up for you. I don't think this is one of them cars. I think that's just, oh yeah, that's way easier than them. Look at these. They're just like rock solid. Okay, that's a job well done. Just one of them little jobs that was really annoying, but it's so easy to fix, but now it's sorted. Okay, on to the next one, which actually is a little bit of a problem with this car that started to occur since the weather's actually got colder. Okay, now the next issue, like I say, is one that I noticed coming into the winter months when the weather started to get a little bit colder. And unfortunately, I can't really demonstrate it. I might add a clip if I can get it in time, but basically when you turn the car on from cold start, it runs really rough and really lumpy for like 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then it'll go absolutely fine, and it won't do it again until the next morning. So I'm gonna scan the car through. I scanned it through a few days ago, and it actually came back with a few faults that I think could be related to the lumpy idle on cold start. It is very common apparently for these engines and these cars to do it anyway, but if I can fix it, then I'd rather do that. So let's plug the diagnostic tool in. You wouldn't think it, but this is a cheap car that I actually care about a lot. It's never let me down. It gets me from A to B every time. Although it won't shut up at the moment. Oh, just the door. Okay. So, I'm going to scan the car through and just see what it is coming up with. Now, I think I know what it potentially could be. I'm just not sure if, with the weather getting colder, if that's just a coincidence that it happened at the same time, or if it could be because something is trying harder to start the car or getting weaker when needing to start the car. So we'll scan it through and we'll see what it says. So like I say, since I noticed this problem, the weather had got colder. Now I'm not sure if that is just a complete coincidence, or I'm not sure if it's something to do with maybe temperature. When the engine's obviously a lot colder at night, it's harder to start. I'm not entirely sure, but there's a few fault codes on here that I think could correspond to what we've got going on. So let this scan through and then I'll show you. Okay, diagnose, control unit, and I want to know what the engine control module is telling me. Read codes. So we have got 4 absent codes for the glow plugs. Now I'm going to take these with a pinch of salt at the moment, because every diesel I've ever scanned has always had a glow plug fault. But that being said, it could be very kind of, it could be the fact that the glow plugs are on the way out. This is a genuine kind of fault code, and that is the reason why the car is obviously finding it very hard to start once it's left overnight. But one that we've got that says present is a 004587 code, which is DDE heated fuel filter. Now, I have no clue what a heated fuel filter is, so I'm just going to quickly do a search on this fault code exactly. Now, it wouldn't do any harm anyway to change the fuel filter, so I'm probably just going to do that regardless. But it'd be nice to know if maybe this fault has some sort of, I don't know, correspondence to a bit of a rough start. So let me do a bit of research and see what it's saying. This person's got an M57 single turbo, no inline pump. Yeah, let's see what I can find. Okay, after a bit of research, the obviously rough idle on cold start could be one of a few things: glow plugs, injectors, faulty fuel filter, or a bad fuel pump, or even a vacuum leak. But what I've found on the code is just people saying that it's the heated element in, like, separate to the kind of fuel filter. So I think it's kind of no harm in just changing the fuel filter anyway. So I've got a brand new fuel filter. A big thank you to Motorstop once again. These are actually located under the car around, I think it's either the passenger or driver's side. I can't remember which one, but we'll get the car up on the ramps and we'll have a look and get this filter changed. Okay, so under the car we've got a load of 8mm bolts holding in this kind of section of the under tray. I've got to take that out or pivot it round because the fuel filter should just be underneath here. Well, behind here, above here. So once I've got these out of the way, it should be fairly easy to get this fuel filter changed. So let's give it a go. There we go. There's the fuel filter. Okay, let's get the rest off. There we go. Okay, so this is the fuel filter, and apparently it could also be this little thing here, which is the heated element that do go wrong. This has never been changed. It's the complete original part. You can tell by the way it's kind of aged and the way that this clip has never been broken. So quite surprised that this is, well, I mean, it could have been changed by BMW, it could have, but it just doesn't look likely. So I'm gonna take off this clip here, break this kind of clip off here. I've got a Jubilee clamp, and there's a bolt here to drop the whole thing out. And actually, I better get something to catch the fuel in first. Right, let's do it. So that clip's got to come off there, which it has. And then I've got to pry diesel. So yeah, if this little thing is the problem, apparently these can be quite pricey. So we'll give the fuel filter a go first and go from there. Hopefully that isn't the case, but I guess we'll see. Next part. Why you not come off? And that's snapped off. Okay, that's probably answered the question as to how old that is. If that's snapped off, that's clearly very old. Oh, that was close to the casualty, that was. Now, we can unbolt the fuel filter. Right, fuel filter coming out. Yeah, that bit is completely snapped off, which shows how old this is. I don't know if there's a date on it or anything, but we've got to undo this clamp now and replace it with the new fuel filter. So let's go do that. Okay, unfortunately, I cannot find a date. It is a man filter, but there's no.
That's it.
There's no date on it, so I'm not sure when this was put on the car. But to undo this filter from, well, this housing, I need a tiny little T20, and you can undo this little bolt here. Now I'm going to remember which way these go. There are arrows, but I'm going to just clamp this into the hanger before I go back underneath the car. So the arrows are pointing that way, okay? Remember that.
What way?
Arrows are pointing to you, yeah? So as long as I don't move this clamp, open it up, old fuel filter off. Do we need to take this sleeve with it? I don't know, but I'm gonna, because I don't think the new one, yeah, the new one hasn't got a sleeve, so we'll reuse this sleeve, throw him away, put this on, and clamp it back together. That's quite easy, wasn't it? The fuel filter has been changed over, well, the clamp's been changed over. Let's get it back on the car and see what happens. There is actually, on these, well, there was an arrow under the here, the sticker, but it says out. Does it say in? I don't know. In fact, it has come with O-rings, but I don't know where for. I'm pretty sure one of them is going to be for here, like so. That has to be. And the other one, I have no clue. Let me get the old fuel filter out. I can't see another O-ring. I'll take it down under with me. We'll see if we can replace it, but there you go, fuel filter change. You just got to push this back in, put that clip back in, tighten the clamp on there, which we have these little Jubilee clamps for, so we'll get it back on. Ah, I found where the O-ring's for. It's for here. So we'll take it off there and replace it with a new one. Why not? We might as well. Sorted. Okay, so we want to attach this like so. Oh, I forgot the Jubilee clamp. No way. Okay. Jubilee clamp on there. That. Oh, I've got to get the flipping thing out. Forgot about that. There it is. Okay, now that on. Fuel filter back on. That goes in there. And okay, this is meant to go a little bit further back. So I've got to loosen the clamp and oh, have we got to loosen that as well? So this has got to go up that way a good bit further. That's that. That, and now get my little flathead and clamp the fuel filter down. Easy as that. I think that's done. Okay, before anything, I am just going to turn the car on and just make sure that there's no leaks or anything like that with that new fuel filter before I do put the under tray back on. So let's prime it a few times just to get the fuel pump working. Right, let's give it a go. Okay, a little bit more. There we go. Oh, it's not running lumpy either. There we go. The car is running again. Right, I'll put the under tray back on. Okay, it is now the morning after. Let's see if, just by changing that fuel filter, it has made much of a difference. If it has, I'll be very happy. If it hasn't, then, well, I guess we're gonna have to dig further and maybe look at changing that heater element, but let's just see. Still a little bit rough, but nowhere near as bad as it was, weirdly. That's interesting. Well, at least we've taken care of the other issues, but for now, we've got a little bit of an update on the Mini, actually, that you've probably seen on the main channel. So let's go find the Mini. And as if by magic, the Mini is back on the driveway. Now, this car has actually sold. You'd have seen us do everything to it on the main channel. It was off the road for 3 years. It needed the alternator doing, so the whole front end had to come off, and we needed to put a new belt on it, etc. We did quite a lot to this car to get it back in a roadworthy condition, and it has since passed its MOT. There was a few advisories on the MOT just for like stuff that are pretty much wear and tear, like your brake discs and things like that. But the Mini is now fully road legal, and
one of you guys have actually bought it, so shout out to yourself. I'll put a link to the guy's Instagram in the description because, I don't know, maybe you want to follow along with what he's going to do to this car. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, this one ended up costing me a little bit more than I anticipated, but we still did make a little bit of a profit, which will all be revealed on the main channel video in, I think, 2 days' time from when this video is going live. But yeah, I've already took payment for this car, and Brandon from Apex Autos is on his way to pick it up and actually drop it off to the new owner. So it will be going very shortly. So I guess this is goodbye to the Mini, and we'll have to try and find the next project. But yeah, this thing turns on the button every single time now. I think it's going to be a good car for someone. Apparently these are really, really fun cars, and I can kind of see it the way they drive. They do handle really, really well. But yeah, I mean, I've not really driven it much. I've quite literally driven it to and from the MOT station, and it seems okay. There's a tiny little kind of creaking noise from the top mounts, but I think that's just honestly where it's not been driven for so long. So I guess we'll go drop this off round the corner to Brandon, who's going to be taking it, and that's it. Goodbye, Mini. And there we go, that is the end of the line for the Mini. Brandon, once again, Apex Autos, I'll leave his link in the description, is taking it to the new owner, who has very kindly paid for the car without actually viewing it, and also paid for Brandon's services as well. So that is it. The Mini is going, and it's on to the next project. Right, let's head back to the driveway, and we've got a few updates on a few things going on the main channel. Okay, the Mini is now gone. So, a quick update to finish this video on the main channel. As you know, we're doing the RS3 series where we're buying cars to concentrate on the profit to eventually be able to buy an Audi RS3. So, I've been pretty busy with that series. It's a lot easier to go out and buy cheap cars that are worth around like 2-3 grand and repair them, because people think, oh, I'll just take the loss on maybe 500 quid of repairs and just put the car up for sale to let someone buy it. With the supercar series, of course, we sold the Integra, and it's a lot harder to then try and find a car to buy for £10,000 that might be worth like £14,000, and swapping on that kind of level of money, people just don't want to do it. It's too much of a risk. So the supercar series is turning out to be quite a lot harder than anticipated. So you're just gonna have to bear with me with that one. If anyone's got a car that is kind of for sale for around £10,000, but it is worth maybe around £13,000-14,000, then please let me know, because that's what I'm kind of looking for. But yeah, I just thought I'd give you a little update on the series on the main channel. Luckily, we have got the RS3 series, and that is pretty easy to go out whenever, buy a cheap car that's broken for spares or repairs or whatever, repair it, and then move it on. So yeah, that's just a little update on the main channel. I guess that is it for this video, and I will see you in 2 days' time for the main channel video, which will be a new car reveal that by the time you're watching this, I've already got it, and I'm about to actually pull it onto the driveway and carry on filming for the main channel video. I'll see you in 2 days.